Sarah had just moved into the old house next door to the Morgans, a family that had always kept to themselves. It seemed like the perfect place to start fresh after a rough year, but there was something off about the house next door. At night, Sarah would hear strange noises, scratching, shuffling, and low growls. Sometimes she'd catch glimpses of movement through the curtains. It wasn't until the third night that she got a good look at her new neighbor. She was sitting on her porch, enjoying a cool breeze, when Mr. Morgan, the elderly man next door, shuffled out of his house. But there was something wrong with him. His skin was gray, almost sickly, and his eyes were bloodshot, wide, and unblinking. His mouth was slightly open, a string of dark, sticky saliva dripping down his chin. Sarah froze, staring at him. "Mr. Morgan!" she called out, hoping he was just sick, hoping he would snap out of whatever trance he seemed to be in. He didn't respond. Instead, he staggered toward her house, dragging his feet, a low moan escaping from his throat. His movements were jerky, unnatural. Panic crept up Sarah's spine as she took a step back. "Mr. Morgan?" she asked again, louder this time. He stopped, his head twitching unnervingly to one side. Then he slowly turned toward her, his lips curling into a grotesque grin. It was a smile that didn't belong on a human face. His mouth was full of blackened, rotting teeth, and his tongue lolled out like a dying animal's. Without warning, he lunged, knocking over the fence between their yards with a sickening crack. His breath was fetid, a mix of decay and rot. Sarah barely had time to scream before the door slammed open behind her. Her new neighbor wasn't just sick, he was something worse. And as he grabbed her, she realized that Mr. Morgan wasn't the only one who had changed. The whole neighborhood had. They were all zombie freaks now. The moans echoed through the quiet streets as the creatures, her neighbors, began to crawl out of their homes, ready to feast.